Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It's Friday. That means almost ready for the weekend, right? So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, we're going to talk about where a customer tells you they think this is the issue when it's really not, and where I've seen other shops miss the boat. So, stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric. If you didn't already know it, yes, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Friday, April 17th of 2026. So, where are some of the other shops missing the boat? Well, simply put, is you do need to listen to the customer and you need to make sure that the issues that they're talking about are addressed. But sometimes they go too deep. And one example was yesterday that we spent most of yesterday doing a drop offs and service calls out in the field. And one of the stops was a friend of ours and a customer that called and said that they had just bought this new Massey Ferguson tractor. And he thought that the rings were bad in it because the oil was coming out of the dipstick. It wasn't oil coming out of the dipstick, it had a blowback where you check the oil. So it was getting pressure in the base. Those are the things that, if you don't know much about equipment, you probably would miss it. But we did a preliminary once over, and I'm very familiar with the Perkins diesels. It's a Massey Ferguson 275. I had the 265, and Perkins from day one from the factory, they're one of the best engines out there as far as I'm concerned. But one of the things that you're going to deal with a Perkins is you want to keep track of the oil because they do spit out a little bit of oil over time, right? So we're talking to him and he's like, "Can you guys take this back to your shop and do a complete engine overhaul on it?" And I'll tell you right now, if you want us to do a engine overhaul, it's not going to happen this time of the season. Not when we have lawnmowers that are coming in daily. Those jobs are supposed to be in the fall, where we have a couple weeks to get the parts, get work done, because it takes up real estate. And once you tear a tractor apart, you lose that section of the shop, okay? But I told him, I said, go ahead and start it up. So he started it up. Not a tick, not an issue. It's one of the best Perkins I've heard in a long time. So I'm telling him, I'm asking him again, what are your chief complaints with it? And he said, well, it's getting blowback through the dipstick tube. And I said, well, see, on the opposite side of the engine, you have an air vent that it's going to have some blow by out that tube, okay? It has to. Because if it can't get out there, it's going to go to your base, which is going to affect where you have your dipstick. That's the only way you can get pressure in the base. It's not the rings. It's back feeding. It can't get out. So looking at the tube that was coming down, we noticed that it looked like it had gotten hot and melted together, and very little air was coming out of that tube. And I looked at Claude and I said, it's the tube. And Claude was showing the customer, this tube could be your culprit. And he said, no. I said, this should be a very inexpensive fix. You don't need an engine teardown. You need to have us install a new tube because this one here melted together partway and it's not allowing it to exhaust out through there to get rid of the pressure. And if it can't, it's going to go to your base. So he's like, Eric, it's never that easy when I'm concerned, when I'm involved. It's always going to be something worse. And I said, well, this time I think you're going to be fine. And I told Claude, I said, it's safe to drive back to the shop. We don't need to go back to the shop and get a trailer. I mean, it was about a 4 or 5 mile drive, but the nice weather was nice. I was going to drive it right to the shop, but Claude said, no, I'll drive it. And the guy was like, is it safe to drive? And I said, well, I guess we're going to find out. I followed Claude all the way back to the shop in case we did have issues. And I could smell a little bit of the oil that it was burning, but that's typical Perkins. And Claude said that that thing had all kinds of power. He said it sounded really good. And from what I could hear in the cab of the truck with the window down, because I was listening, the only thing I saw as an issue were the front tie rods that I noticed when Claude would pick up the speed, they would start to flutter, so he'd have to slow it back down again. And he finally stopped and he said, Eric, go ahead and head back to the shop. I can't get over a certain speed without these front tires going into a fit. I said, yeah, I can see that from following you. But I said, I just won't follow you the rest of the way. That way I know for sure that you get back to the shop. And that's one thing that I think we need to address, and that is new tie rod ends, or at least the ball joints, because he travels the road a lot and he wanted to have that to draw round bales on a round bale wagon. So speed is what he's going to want, and if that thing is wobbling all over the front, I've seen them so bad that one would cut right quick and it would snap the axle itself. Yeah, they're not fun. Most shops look for the worst. We look for the cheapest way out for the customer. And people are going to say, I already know it. But you got to think about the shop first. I am thinking about the shop first. If the reputation that I want out there with future customers is Eric looks for the cheapest fix, the correct fix, the right fix. I'm not saying to toggle it and this and that. I'm just saying the cheapest way out for my customer. And from what I've seen of this tractor, the cheapest way out is replace the tube, tie rod ends, and give it a general once over. And if it needs an oil change, do an oil change on it. That thing, didn't even roll twice and it was running. But the guy wasn't familiar with the Perkins. He wasn't familiar with Massey Ferguson. So he was clueless of how they sound and work and this and that. And I explained to him, I said that with owning a Massey Ferguson, one of the things that you're going to want to keep track of is your oil level. You're going to get so much oil seepage past, and it's going to come out the exhaust, and don't fret about it. We had another customer that had gone all the way to Pennsylvania and bought a Perkins diesel generator / welder, because he was a welder by trade. And he come to us and he's like, Eric, can you rebuild this engine for me? And I said, yeah, we can rebuild it, but what's the problem with it right now? And he said, well, over time, it's been leaking oil out of the exhaust. He said, when I bought it, the guy said that they had just completely rebuilt it. So I said, have you ever owned a Perkins before? See where I'm going with this? And he's like, no. I said, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Is it doing everything that it's supposed to be doing, other than using a little bit of oil? And he said, yeah. I said, that's typical Perkins. Perkins makes one of the best engines out there, but Perkins also has a history of over lubrication. And it's not your rings, it's not your engine going bad, it's just the breed. It's And there's nothing wrong. Actually, I would be more concerned on a Perkins if I saw it and it wasn't burning or leaking a little bit of oil somewhere. You know, is that the norm with all the tractors out there? No, no. That's something Perkins was well known for, right from the factory. If you went and you bought a brand new Massey Ferguson back then and got that Perkins diesel, that was something that you knew. I mean, that was something that was familiar. So, again, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But if you're looking for more shop hours, wouldn't a complete rebuild that the customer wanted be more beneficial to the shop? Yes and no. Yes, I mean, it would give more shop hours, but no, it wouldn't be more beneficial because it ties up my shop right now. And if it really needed to be done, I would tell the guy to park it and we'll see it this fall. But as it is, he's going to have it back probably the middle of next week once I get the parts here and get them on and get the tie rods fixed, get the tube replaced, and change oil if necessary. Give it a full service, which is going to be way cheaper than what he expected. That's why I say, you're only as good as your reputation. And if your reputation is doing what's best for your shop and not what's best for your customer, you're not going to be in business long. Because some people are going to tell you the X, Y, and Z to see what you do. And if you do what they wanted to do, they're going to say, why did you do it? Because they knew that it didn't need to be done. It's like lawnmower blades. If they need to be replaced, replace them. If you can touch them up and replace them next year. If they're mowing sandy loam, replace them, give them an extra set of blades to take home with them because they're going to need it, right? Depending on how big their yard is. You're only as good as your last job. Another stop that we had was an Oliver, and it's a diesel. She's an old one, and the old lady Jane, she's almost 90 years old, and she shouldn't be on a tractor anyways. Been after me all this spring, starting in February, about getting that tractor going. That the other guy that was working on it got a job and is working somewhere else and doesn't have time to do it. And she kept saying it's electrical. And I'm looking at Claude, I'm like, what is there on a diesel that's electrical that could be an issue? One would be the electric fuel pump. And the older Olivers did not have a fuel shutoff solenoid in the system. So I knew it wasn't that. So it just left, it had to be key switch and fuel pump. Because she said it would start and then die. And they wait a few minutes, start and die. Well, that's because fuel is gravity flowing instead of going through the electric fuel pump. The fuel pump's bad. So I ordered in a couple of fuel pumps because we checked with our local auto repair shop and they wanted $98 for one. I went online and I found where I could buy two of them for $30. So I bought two. We took the tools with us, went out there yesterday, and the guy that had been working on it before was sitting on the front porch. So I got a rapport with him and I said, were you able to get it fixed? And he said, yeah. He said it was just a bad fuel pump. That's what I kept telling her. And he said that I kind of got in some trouble, ended up getting a job as a mechanic, and then wasn't thinking DWI, and my boss told me take a couple weeks off. So he said it freed me up to come over and finish the job on her tractor. So I told him, I said, I'm grateful that you did it. I said, I had a brand new fuel pump in the truck if you need it. that I thought would be the only thing that could be electrical on that tractor. And he said, yeah. He said that he had her go to the auto parts store and pay the $85 for that fuel pump. I told him, I said, I'd give 30 for two of them. So, but I had to wait for him to come in before I could come back out and do the work on her tractor. But I thanked him for getting it done for her. And I said, she shouldn't even be on that tractor. And he's like, she isn't. Said that I come over and I help her do the stuff and I run the tractor for her. But he said, I'm off for the next 2 weeks, so I'm going to try to get a bunch of stuff caught up for her and hopefully can get my old job back as a mechanic. I was talking with Claude, and Claude said that the problem with being a mechanic and a DWI is you can't test drive people's cars to see if you fix the issue. And to a shop, you're kind of handicapped and it just isn't kosher. So Claude said he could understand why the boss give the guy 2 weeks off, And a lot of auto mechanic shops can't afford to have somebody that doesn't have a license to test drive vehicles after they get done working on it. So I guess what I'm trying to get across is sometimes it's the simplest fix that is the answer. But in the same retrospect, don't always look for the easiest things and overlook the obvious that's even worse. You can fix a bunch of stuff throw a bunch of parts at it before you diagnose it and still end up you have the same issue that you had when you started. So you still need to diagnose an engine when you start working on it. And we talk about compression. We have the diesel compression that we can check as well, with the kits that we have at the shop. If it needs to have it done and you have the time to do it, do it. If it doesn't need to be done and you've done your diagnostic and you figured out that it's just simply a $25, $30 hose that melted together and it's not allowing the engine to breathe, that's great. And I can guarantee you that you do that repair, do the tie rods, and do an oil change is going to be cheaper than even probably the set of rings and pistons that he was talking. Forget labor. I don't even think you can do an in-frame on the Perkins. Some of them you can, but if you got to do the crank bearings and stuff and the mains, a lot of times you have to take that engine completely out so that you can flip it upside down and have access to all of it. I think with this, the way it sounds, a $30 tube, a $50 oil change, another $20 for the oil filter, and the cost of the tie rod ends will be cheaper than what he thought just for piston and rings. And when we take it back to him, he's going to be thrilled. And any other work that he has, he's going to send our way. Not going to be a long video this morning because I'm running behind this morning, but you guys have a great Friday. And again, thanks so much for watching the channel. I know I'm putting out a lot of videos. I'm trying to, with being successful at anything requires time, hard work, and what have you. And so I'm trying to get the extra videos to get the algorithm to understand what I'm trying to get out there. And I just threw it a curveball yesterday when I said defining success because it has less to do about repairs and more to do about the business side. So probably throw it into a tailspin and not know what the hell I'm even about, where to push me to what crowd. You guys have a great Friday.